All right, let's get started. Today's 1 January 2020. Happy New Year, everybody. This is the first video of the day. I told you things are going to get bad from here on out. Here's an article here. It was published in the AFP. Pro-Iran protesters dig in outside U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. So let's get into this article. Pro-Iran protesters dug in outside the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad on Wednesday, throwing rocks and burning U.S. flags a day after making a dramatic incursion into the compound. Thousands of Iraqi supporters of the largely Iranian-trained Hashad al-Shaabi paramilitary force had gathered at the embassy on Tuesday, outraged by U.S. strikes that killed 25 Hashad fighters over the weekend. They marched unimpeded through the checkpoints of the usually high-security green zone to the enemy gates. When they broke through a reception area, chanting "Death to America" and scribbling pro-Iran graffiti on the walls. The protesters set up portable toilets and some 50 tents outside the perimeter wall, vowing not to leave until U.S. forces quit Iraq. On Wednesday morning, a truck delivered hundreds of mattresses in an indication of the protesters' plans. Crowds of men, some in military fatigues, brandished Hashad flags and chanted anti-U.S. slogans. Quote, "I spent the night here and I won't leave until the Americans leave and we enter the embassy," said one protester, who identified himself only as Abbas. Some protesters set U.S. flags on fire and hurled rocks towards the compound. Security personnel inside responded with tear gas, wounding several protesters. Quote, "They will pay." Tuesday's embassy attack was the latest episode in spiraling tensions between the United States and Iran since Washington abandoned a landmark nuclear deal with Tehran in 2018. Many of those tensions have played out in Iraq, which has close ties with both governments. U.S. forces, who number some 5,200 across Iraq, have faced a spate of rocket attacks in recent months, which U.S. officials have blamed on pro-Iran factions within the Hashad. Last week, one of those attacks killed a U.S. contractor, prompting retaliatory U.S. airstrikes on a hairline Hashad faction known as Kataib Hezbollah, the Hezbollah Brigades. The strikes killed 25 fighters from Kataib Hezbollah, which organized Tuesday's march to the embassy gates. In his first comments on the strikes, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khomeini on Wednesday strongly condemned U.S. malice. President Donald Trump and other top U.S. officials have blamed Iran for the storming of the embassy compound. Quote, "They will pay a very big price. This is not a warning. It is a threat," Trump wrote on Twitter, adding a Happy New Year. Alarmed, the protesters were able to reach the embassy so easily. U.S. officials have pressured Iraqi forces to step up security and sent a rapid response team of Marines to help guard the compound overnight. U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper said around 750 troops from the 82nd Airborne Division were prepared to deploy to the region in the coming days. Ties, coldest in years. By Wednesday, Iraqi forces had reimposed normal security measures around the perimeter of the Green Zone, usually inaccessible without a badge, but they did not remove the crowds that had spent the night outside. No U.S. personnel were injured, and U.S. officials said there were no plans to evacuate the mission. Ambassador Matthew Tiller, who had been on holiday, was said to be on his way back to Baghdad. The attack highlighted the strains in the U.S.-Iraqi relationship, which officials from both countries have described to AFP as the coldest in years. The U.S.-led 2003 invasion against the then dictator Saddam Hussein and has worked closely with Iraqi officials since then, but its influence has waned in the face of Tehran's growing clout in Baghdad. The dramatic scenes at the embassy on Tuesday sparked comparisons with both the 1979 hostage crisis at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran and the deadly 2012 attack on the U.S. consulate in Libya, second city in Benghazi. I just want to talk a few minutes. You know, it's pretty easy to do. People think, why is it possible for these protesters? I mean protesters. They're this Iranian militia. They are in Iran. They're in the Baghdad area. They're inside the green zone. when you have your leaders in your government, the Iraqi government, you know, the Iranian influence, Iranian agents, the interior minister, you know, that controls the security inside Iraq. It's so easy for them to move their troops around because they're in control. They control who enters and leaves the green zone. And it's just going to get worse. They already have tents, mattresses. You can see on Twitter, they're already they're loaded for bear. You know, tell what's inside those tents. You know, what are they doing? What kind of supplies are they bringing in so close to the embassy like that? This is not good, folks. This is not good at all. I know you're smart enough to see that. It's just going to escalate from here. As soon as the 82nd Airborne shows up, it'll start escalating. You know, if you go to my Twitter page, I don't know if you guys go to Twitter or on Twitter. Well, here's the embassy right here, one of the outside perimeter of the embassy. Got the United States Marines standing right here outside the walls here. This is the entrance. This is the security checkpoint that they burned down. Look at this. Look at all the flags, the Iranian flags at the embassy. I would have taken all them down, but that's just me. Then right here at the bottom of the picture, you see all the Iranian militia all disguising themselves. If you didn't know it, they don't speak the same language as an Iraqi, so they know who's Iranian and who's not. It's very easy. And plus, they cover their faces up. You also see some pictures yesterday where the Iraqi army was on site. They were unarmed. They're the ones wearing the red berets. They're unarmed, on site, and not doing anything. And they're responsible for the security. So if you go to my Twitter page here, pretty good feed here. Let me show you something right here. This right here. I created this graphic yesterday. Okay, you got two militia people here. They're from the Kataib Hezbollah, and they're right side of the embassy. This is a security, like an interest level, office way, lookout tower, whatever. And so they put their flag here, and look what they're carrying. They're carrying American weapons. So both carrying American-made M4 carbines, and one wearing Kevlar helmet. So this guy wearing a Kevlar helmet. That's U.S. made. And he's carrying, like I said, M4. We should stop giving the Iraqi government American weapons that wind up in the bad guys' hands. You know, what are we thinking? I don't understand the thinking. Why we give anybody our weapons, knowing that they're going to give them to the Iranian militia. They're the ones in charge. So, well, why would... I mean, I'm not surprised. Don't get me wrong. I'm not surprised. But we should stop doing that. And here's another report that I put out here on Twitter. If the Iranians keep opening up the banks in Iraq, you'll never get rid of them. Wake up, Iraqis. And this article is Iranian bank opening 7 branches in Iraq. The Iranian government's opening up 7 branches. They're all connected to the government. There ain't no, I'm a private entrepreneur here and I'm a private small business owner and I'm going to open up my own bank. No, it's connected to the Iranian government. And we need to stop doing that. I don't know why. We need to start looking at our relationship with Iraq, maybe. Because it's not going right. And here you have a U.S. Marines, F-18 Hornet fighter jets. They're based in Kuwait. And then here you got some more troops coming. So things are just escalating, folks. If you're not on my Twitter page, please go to it and follow me. And I should be more active than I am, but if you have any questions, put your comments below. And this is the first video of the day. Hope everybody's having a great 2020. And just keep an eye on Iraq because oil prices are going to be going up. And they're not going to be coming down. But if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up down below. Give me a comment. Do watch the comments. I do reply back most of the time. 99% of the time, I do reply back. and like the YouTube video.